the best part of this whole goddamn thing is that he is not martyr material, so his death will mean nothing. It will activate no one. It will impact few. It's just great.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the politic guy in the family, not my wife. And while I was editing video, my wife came and told me they just shot Charlie Kirk, which means way more people got the message too. You know what I like about this? At least this one, they're not desecrating. And actually, it was like 3 million people. That's way more. The biggest rally ever in UK. Well, the citizens are speaking. And some people might say, we don't see a lot of migrants and this and that. I'm like, why did you ask?
Real, live and raw. Why are you here today?
I'm here in support of our country, our British patriots, and also in solidarity with our American friends and free speech, especially following the death of Charlie Kirk. It's so important to be here today and just to be with fellow patriots and just to have a voice and show this government that we can still have our free speech. It's so important. We don't want to lose our free speech.
That's amazing. Someone said in my comment section that this whole gathering is a gathering of far-right racist scum, and they're saying, why would I want to attend something like that? So what do you think about them calling this whole group far-right racists?
Absolutely not. I think if you're from our country and you love our country, there's nothing far right about it. There's nothing wrong or we shouldn't be called a Nazi just because you want to raise your country's flag. There's no other country in the world where you could be called a Nazi or far right just for raising your country's flag. A lot of people have had really good opportunities in this country. My grandfather came from South Africa. He didn't get everything for free. He worked very hard. Our ancestors worked very hard and integrated. So they did all the hard work for us. So there's a lot of fair opportunities in this country, and I think it's really unfair for people to actually turn around and call the host nation far right and racist when we know that that's not true.
A lot of Americans are saying that don't we think it's a bit too late for the UK right now with everything that's going on in the country, the government and everything, like everything seeming kind of chaotic, that don't you think it's a bit too late?
Everybody would love to have a crystal ball. I'd love to have a crystal ball to do predictions. The only message I would give to people is, don't give up hope. And that's why many of us are here today, because we don't want to give up hope.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't believe there's like 3 million people there, you would be shocked how many people are there. And that includes immigrants. They were singing Christian songs.
Bobby Robinson, what do you think about him? A lot of people hate him. A lot of people say he's a thug. He hates all Muslims. He hates black people. He hates immigrants. He wants all immigrants to be sent back to the country. What do you have to say about that? And why do you support him?
I would say to people, get out there and go and do some research. There you go.
Can you hear that?
I would say to go and do your own research, don't be indoctrinated. That's why we're in the positions that we're in now, because there's many people out there being indoctrinated. They're just being told certain things and then they're doing like a knee-jerk response. just putting labels on people and calling people racist. You know, I did my own research. I heard a lot about Tommy Robinson years ago, so I started looking into Tommy Robinson, thinking I've got to check this guy out, this person out, what's all this racism about. But the more I've actually looked at some of his speeches, and I would advise anybody, just go to the Oxford Union speech if you're really starting brand new with Tommy, and then you can learn and find out more about what Tommy's about. A similar thing happened to Charlie Kirk in America. You know, he was just a conservative and a patriot and a Christian, and again, a lot of people put labels on him, calling him racist, but they're not actually listening to the messages. And I think the minute you try and shut people down, that's when you suppress free speech, and if you don't allow people to speak, then that's when violence happens, you know. And if you just try and silence people with violence, it's going to create more violence. I would just say, listen, you know, there are some real racists out there, yes, there are some far-right people out there, but not everyday ordinary people, and I just think it's wrong for people to not do their own research and put unfair labels on people. In the same way that any one of us, I wouldn't want to see you unfairly labelled, I wouldn't want to see me unfairly labelled, and the same applies. Anti-white sentiment is real, and I think it's important that as people of colour we get out and speak about these things, because if it was happening to us, they would be the same people. Some of those people would be the same people coming out in defence of us. So I think it's important, if you're not actually seeing that same rhetoric and that narrative with your own eyes, then you should stand up and say, well, actually, no, that's not what I'm seeing.
That's why I'm speaking out. And I don't want to speak out, but now I found out that if I speak out in certain country, I might get, and people might celebrate on TikTok. And if I call that out, both sides needs to tone it down. Adilo, remember to subscribe.
The most alarming aspect of the event was just how normal the vast majority of the marchers were. I spent an hour or two amongst them, and my own impression was that they were mostly the sort of people you'd meet in a country pub or in half-time queue for the loo at football or at a concert. There was a sprinkling of black and brown faces, and the event was brought to a close by a gospel group singing Jerusalem. All that must worry the traditional mass parties, Labour and Conservatives, now polling at less than 40% between them. They're draining support to parties like Reform and the Greens. And yet a man recently out of jail, condemned as an extremist thug by most mainstream media outlets, can rally a demo the size of the entire population of Cambridge or Blackpool. A feat you couldn't imagine either Sir Keir Starmer or Kemi Badenoch pulling off anytime soon.
The fact that two parties are not getting a lot of votes,
Labour and Conservatives,
and a third party is getting more votes, what most people were saying, I wish I had more party to be able to vote. And now you can vote for that party, and you're also fascist, you will start coming to the conclusion, whenever I don't vote for a specific party, everybody else is fascist.
And I think before we go to the lessons, we really have to look at the reality of what this demo was, and that is a pretty humiliating defeat. If we look at the numbers alone, Tommy Robinson's side seems to have gotten around 1 million, and on our side, lucky if it was 15,000, more likely 10,000. So I think maybe if we just start there, you know, like, how did we get here?
I mean, before that, like, we have to be clear about this. Like, our side was completely defeated. Tommy Robinson won hands down without even a fight. You know, the reports are different regarding the numbers, but yeah, the videos show the police said 100,000. It's obviously had more than that, and our side was totally the counter demo was small, was really tepid, wishy-washy, and what was also surprising is how confident and emboldened the right was, because the demo was attacked at Whitehall, people were trapped, and you know they were ready for a showdown.
Of course they're ready for a showdown, because you prove to them if you speak, another showdown might happen. So nobody's gonna stand or sit while it happens. The fact that even they admitted, the police say 100,000. We know it's not 100,000.
The police said 100,000. It's obviously had more than that.
It has to be at least 1 million, and you're still downplaying. But that's usually we see on the left. They said Kamala was gonna win.
No, you're right.
Hit the streets! Hit
See, we want to be able to do the same. We will not call you fascist, and whatever we say, we're just going to fight and vote different and have a voice. That's it. So whenever somebody is behind us, they're just going to copy us and have a voice. And vote, and not be silent about it. Tolerant, nice, but going forward, challenging the opinions, and that's it. Just like you are challenging us by calling us fascist.
Everything you just shared to me there.
Cool. I come from Eritrea. It's a dictatorship. For the past 30 years, the Eritrean people has tried to remove the dictatorship there. So for probably in 2 years' time, I've come back from Eritrea. I went there for 5 years to try to overthrow the government. And what I've noticed is when I reported it to the police, to the government, that there's Eritreans just like me who live here. And they're not victims like me, but in fact, they're the people who work for that government over there. They'll have businesses in the UK. They'll have charities to funnel the money and send it back home to the terrorist groups who are making us run away. The same terrorist groups that I'm not trying to live with, they're here. And when I reported it to the police, they said I'm crazy. So I don't know what to do. That's why I'm defending our brother Phil here, and I think he needs to be heard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's what some people want to call out. But then suddenly you're racist, even if you're the same race.
Do ba 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 do boo do a boo ba do ba do boo boo ba do a do ba do ba do a do.
As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about integrating. And generally, usually if you integrate, people see you work. That really helps.
They use the freedom of speech to censor your right to speak against them. And when they say, they use the terminology Islamophobia, it's just to stop you from criticizing the Islamists and the Muslim Brotherhoods or all form of radicalism. The fact that Islamic Relief, for instance, is registered as a charity here, but all the way in Saudi Arabia, in UAE and other countries is banned because of the investigation that showed that this charity is sending money all the way to some terrorist groups in the Middle East.
Yes.
It tells you a lot. I think you have more extremists in UK than you have in the Middle East.
Really?
At this stage, absolutely. The things that some of the Islamists say in various mosques, and we have been seeing that online, the terminology they use, the analysis they make, the statements they actually make, they would not be able to say it all the way in Afghanistan, for example, or in Iraq.
So how has this been allowed to flourish in the UK? What's your analysis of that?
In the name of democracy. So the Muslim Brotherhood, they use the freedom of speech in a manner where they will be anti-Semite in the name of freedom of speech. I absolutely stand against that, because I think anti-Semitism is not an opinion, it's a crime, and a crime against humanity. And once you allow that, on the 7th of October, for example, when it happened, the genocide against the Israelis, what I saw and what we witnessed is the fact that some Islamists all the way from here in Small Heath, in Al Amrak, in Birmingham, and other areas, we saw their voices. It was pro-Hamas.
Yes.
And Hamas, as a force which carried that genocide in Gaza and also in Israel, it's actually the armed forces of the Muslim Brotherhood. Muslim Brotherhood in my country, for example, UAE, where Muslim, where Arab, is banned, but however it's not banned in the United Kingdom.
So it should be banned?
Absolutely.
My country doesn't have that issue. We don't have terrorists like that. But I can understand it that certain things that I don't like of my own country, if I go to Holland in a specific neighborhood and I see it right there once, I'll never visit that, because I don't like that specific lifestyle subculture of my country. The fact that UK allows that with funding, bruh, how is that even possible?
That flag is offensive.
Okay, what's offensive about it?
You're saying that all refugees rape people.
It doesn't say that.
Okay. Well, did you know that of all the people arrested in the riots last summer, 40% of them had convictions for domestic violence?
In Southport, yes, I did, and that's disgusting. And they're being arrested and follow due process. But did you know that per capita, the people that come over on boats have a high proportionality for rape and other serious... Oh, you don't like data when it's used against you?
It's not true.
Oh, you don't like data when it's used against you?
And now you know why it is possible. Because people like this actually vote for this and they try to shame you in silence. But hey, we had Charlie Kirk. And then you know what happened.
Fuck Israel, fuck Israel, fuck Palestine, yeah? Rule England. This guy's pro-Israel. So everyone's...
So is Tommy Robertson.
I know he is, right?
So why are you here if you don't support Tommy Robertson?
Let me talk Jew, yeah? Jew. They're Zionists, Jew, not welcome Jew.
Proudly a Jew.
They're Jew, yeah?
Proud to be a
110 countries
Jew.
coming soon. 110 countries coming soon. England's the next country.
Do you know England beat the Nazis? You're a Nazi,
Who's a
bro.
Nazi? Well, I'm a Nazi.
Do you support Hitler?
Protect white people. I'm a Nazi for wanting to protect white people.
No, absolutely.
Huh? Of course it's peaceful, but we've got infiltrators.
What's interesting, bad people exist on both sides, whatever you want to call it, but these guys, they might even be paid.
What the future of England look like if nothing's changed? We would have been taken over for sure, erased forever and forgotten. And nobody would even know England was a British country, well-spoken, led by the Queen, led by the King. King, come on, you need to do something. I'm very sorry. When the Queen was alive, respect was there. Can we have the same respect? It's a British country. It's well-spoken. If you can't speak English, get out. The migrants coming with the boats, unfortunately, you come here, you say you want a better life. How about you start sweeping the streets of Britain, learn English, go to school, speak English, and maybe you could be slightly accepted. But because we don't know your background, we don't know where you're coming from, we need to protect our children, we need to also protect the future of this country. It's a sovereign country. Sovereign means queen, king. That means if you can't speak English, get out. There's no better life here. We all work hard, pay your taxes. Those taxes then help the country and leave the children alone. You do this to your women back home. We don't want to know. I'm not British, but I'm telling you, I'm from a British colony. You can't speak English, get out.
And you know what's surprising? I know some leftists would not listen to any of this because the only thing they saw was one racist. Yep, because they only focus on the white person.
Don't get me wrong, makosa kita bong. Put the fire na mi blonde kush hash purple skunk creo yo colombici jam jam dur loqueta verdetta welcome.